David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about a very important subject, and I know it's something.
You're standing on my ball there. Would you mind if I play through?
I guess it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Barbeau. Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Look at this. He's even got like props.
Of course.
I mean,
I come prepared.
That's impressive. A hat and everything.
Be careful who you throw that at.
Do the Connery thing. I had to invite Kyle for this conversation, of course, because we're going to be talking today about marketing and products and wish lists and things like that. And you're kind of one of my buds when it comes to those type of things.
You can say that.
Yeah. So here we go. I mean, we are literally right now surrounded by and covered in the different Bond brands. You've got what? Slazenger?
Slazenger, Omega, of course. Shoes are upstairs.
Yeah, I've got my Omega on, 60th anniversary, finally wearing it, so stop sending the hate mail. Yeah, rip.
Steal that.
I have NPL on, all associated Bond stuff, but we were talking the other day and we said, here we are, we're sort of midway through 2024. We feel that every year is a Bond anniversary year.
And we're going to have that forever now. There will always be something to celebrate each year.
That's right. So we're trying to pull things, but I've heard from other people, and I'd like to get your sense of it to kind of kick this off a little bit. Is it me, or does it seem a little bit quiet on the front as far as products coming out?
There's a bit of a lull because there's no new movie to promote. I think right now we're kind of in a holding pattern.
Yeah. So I'm also even finding out, okay, so last year there was no movie, but for some reason around some of the anniversaries, there were more things that were regularly coming from 007.com, from the different brand lines, launches. And again, it just seems quiet.
Especially in the year of Goldfinger and the year of the Man with the Golden Gun, the golden year, if you will. That now I sound like I'm getting into my retirement. The golden years.
It is your golden years. No, that's my golden years. But you're right. I mean, so let's even take Goldfinger. Goldfinger is arguably, and we've talked about this before, one of the most iconic and publicly appreciated.
Yes.
Like the normies.
The civilians, the muggles, they watch Goldfinger. They like Goldfinger. They know Goldfinger. They know the car. They know the golf. They know the plot.
So you would think that from a marketing standpoint, they would take advantage of that to say it's immediately recognizable. We could have this anniversary and push out these products. At least for right now, when this video's up, the engine doesn't seem like it's cooking.
Not yet. It's that enthusiasm is coming from us.
Right.
We're the ones who are acknowledging this is the Goldfinger year. This is the Man with the Golden Gun year.
Yeah. So all we have right now are our hopes and our dreams.
And our sweaters.
And our sweaters. But that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to talk about what would we, if we had a magic wand, if we were part of a focus group and they said, what do you, as Bond fans, passionate Bond fans, what do you want this year as far as products, merchandise, things that we can put, stuff? And Kyle, I'm going to let you go first. What comes to mind right away?
Well, I like things that are like in universe, the stuff that James Bond wears, the stuff that James Bond uses, the stuff that he has that's from his world. I don't wear a ton of things that are labeled 007, but I wear stuff that Bond wears all the time, every day, with watches and shoes and accessories like those, sweaters. So I want some more of those things, and I have a couple of ideas.
Ooh.
I am an iPad guy. When I work, I do a lot of remote work, and I use an iPad for that.
Yep.
I would like an iPad cover that says Carver Media on it with the Elliot Carver logo, because he's got that classic, one hand. And every time I use my iPad at work, I think of like, well, I'm doing the Elliot Carver thing. Wouldn't it be neat if they made an Elliot Carver logo iPad cover?
And that is not outlandish because, quite frankly, they came out with stickers, I think it was 2 years ago. 007.com came out stickers with like different companies, Zorin and things like that.
And that's another one. I would love to have a Zorin Industries flash drive. Because he's Mr. Microchip. How cool would it be to go to work
a microchip
with your Zorin microchip and plug it in to your computer, which is indispensable.
I need more RAM.
I find the computer indispensable.
Oh my God, that's pretty good actually. That would be great, and they're so simple.
Right, little things, and things that when you use them, you're transported into the world of the movies. You could see like,
Yeah.
okay, this is made by Zorin Industries. This is made by Carver Media. I like that kind
Can
of
you
stuff.
imagine if they came out with, because you sparked this entirely, but now my imagination is going crazy. Can you imagine if they came out with a James Bond desk or executive accessory line?
I would love that.
Like if they had a stapler's, which was Jaws mouth,
That is a great idea.
right? You just
I love
staple
that
your stuff
idea.
together as Jaws mouth.
Yes, that would be really neat.
I mean, you could do so many things. Even the Golden Gun, they could release it as a pen and different aspects and
Right, and the cufflinks and all of
cufflinks, the whole
things.
paper clips, all
the
these.
lighter.
Yes.
Lighter. That's something else that I want. I'm a cigar
Oh,
smoker.
yes.
So I really like butane lighters. I would love to have a butane soft flame lighter
Yep.
that says to James, love Della and Felix.
Oh,
like the one from
yes.
License to Kill.
Yes.
Like an officially licensed Felix lighter. Illuminating.
It seems like that would be easy to do.
Yeah, and just something that, again, every time you use it, you think of that moment in License to Kill when
Oh my
he gets it
gosh.
at the wedding, and then at the end, he uses it to dispatch Sanchez. What a neat thing for Bond fans to
I love
use.
that. I have a couple clothing items.
Okay.
That I would, let's just call it a wish list.
Sure.
So the number one that I would want to have, and I actually used to have something very similar to this, but I want a perfectly accurate one, and that is the leather jacket that Pierce Brosnan wears at the beginning of Tomorrow Never Dies
great jacket.
in the Arms Bazaar, that has the belted waist and everything like that. I want that.
That's a great jacket. I
Right?
would buy one of those.
Who made the original? Was that
Jeez.
the costumer
I
or something?
don't know. I think so. I think maybe Berman's and Nathan's or one of those.
That sounds
One of those
right.
like Hollywood costume
Yes.
companies made that.
But I think that would be great during the autumn, heading into the fall.
Yes.
I mean, perfect, right?
That I love that jacket. I'm a huge
Put the collar up.
Brosnan guy. So
Yeah.
anything that he had, I'm all for it.
What else? I'm just trying to think too. Was there any other sort of things that he kicked off, like the whole Brosnan era?
You know what I
think about?
like? The Hawaiian shirt that he wears when he meets Jinx for the first time. You know, mojito.
Yes.
I think that would be a cool thing for somebody to replicate.
I like that because we could really go crazy on the clothing.
Sure. I mean, again, we're talking about James Bond clothing.
Right.
Clearly, we're fans of James Bond clothing. So if they made screen accurate James Bond clothing, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna wear it. We're gonna use it.
But this is part of the walls that are now surrounding me, is that Olibar Brown and Peel, start naming all of these brands that used to
Slazenger.
have these whole lines. Now it just feels a little bit quieter and a little bit more limiting.
It is quiet, and it's not because there aren't any more things that they could make.
Right.
I know one of the things that you and I have been clamoring for years, and Mason and Sons just came out with one, is the cardigan from Majesties that George Lazenby
Oh,
wears.
yes. Yes.
I would love them to do another run of
I
that
have
because
been-
I slept on it and I didn't get it.
Well, I've been
Now they're gone.
the brown one with the zip.
The buttons that he wears at Piz Gloria.
Yes. Oh, and that was a bad one to miss because that is gorgeous.
I know. I tried on yours,
Oh.
and I regret not getting it right away.
I've
Hopefully,
had-
there's a second run of those.
I hope so. I have asked NPL
Mm-hmm.
to do a very specific one with all the correct measurements and everything in there, because that one's hard to get. I would love that to be involved.
I'm all for that. I mean, again, James Bond clothes.
Yeah.
Whatever you're gonna make, we're gonna like it.
That's true.
Some of the Roger Moore stuff I would like to see.
Like what?
Some of the suits that he wears, especially
Oh.
this being the year of the Man with the Golden Gun. I love how he looks in the Man with the Golden Gun. Anything he wears in that movie, I would be all about. I like the gray suit he wears to M's office.
Isn't there a light blue suit that he wears?
I love the light blue suit that he wears in Beirut, the Beirut suit. So
Who would make that though?
a good tailor,
Okay,
a good English tailor.
but that's not a Mason and Son, Anthony Sinclair.
No, that was Cyril Castle was the name of the. It was actually on the same street as Anthony Sinclair, but
You know what I've got a
Different
hankering to, since we're talking about products and merchandising and marketing, and this is going to be painting me as a man-child, and I'm okay with that.
really?
Is
I never would have guessed.
obvious. Toys.
Yes.
James Bond toys, figures, figurines, new style cars, remote controls, volcano, play sets. that you could do. Where are they?
Micro machines.
Micro machines.
That's
Absolutely.
that kind of stuff that would engage a younger audience and maybe attract some new Bond fans.
Yeah.
You buy toys like your Corgi car story is a great story.
Yeah.
That's what got you interested in James Bond. Let's keep that momentum going
Right.
and attract some new younger fans with toys.
Well, I know Sideshow and a lot of these places have done the 12-inch.
Yep.
But I've never seen, unless stand me corrected if that's the case, 3 3/4. The whole Star Wars side.
The
of
Kenner
James Bond.
figures. Remember
Yes.
those? Why haven't they made a line of like James Bond Kenner figures?
Exactly. And then I would want play sets.
Right.
I would want like the
Right.
vehicles that you could put in them. And how difficult would that be to do that?
I mean, it's just a matter of striking a licensing agreement, I guess, between the IP holders and the manufacturer.
How do we get that done?
I don't know, but we're pretty smart. We can broker that deal. I don't know. You've got contacts.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm wondering if they're thinking to themselves, who's purchasing these high-end toys is a Bond fan and will purchase them.
Do they need to be high-end toys? I mean, Star Wars Kenner figures, they're
No.
still sold at any Target or
Yeah.
where do you buy toys now? There's no more Toys R Us, but they're still there.
Right.
And they're maybe what, $11, something like that.
Right?
Well, let's see some $11 James Bond action figures.
I think people in general would like more affordability in the products that they seek out and they collect.
Correct. And I think that would make people a little bit less precious with them, and they'd be more willing to play with
Absolutely.
them and more willing to wear them if they were at an approachable price point.
Yeah, agreed. One thing that I've heard a lot, I'd be curious to get your point of view on this, although I could guess. It's really, like we've given some complicated ones, toys and accessories and clothing. What about just having something like the movies done in 4K?
I've been singing that song for what seems like years. A 4K Blu-ray box set is something that I would desperately want to own. I'm not sure why it didn't come out for the 60th anniversary, because I'm not crazy about some of the aesthetic choices that they made with the Blu-rays. Sound effects and colors on some of the older films aren't perfect.
Right.
Let's get a nice fresh Blu-ray box set in 4K for one of these anniversary years.
Is that the easiest thing we just asked for in this whole list so far?
Your guess is as good as mine. I would think it's a no-brainer. I know that the fans would buy them,
Right.
and so would just movie fans.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's something that everybody universally, even if you're not one of the Bond community passion fans, have been clamoring and asking for years.
Yeah, I mean, I want the original cuts of Star Wars too, but I really want a James Bond 4K Blu-ray box set.
It'll happen.
I hope so.
What else are you begging for, thinking about,
An Aston Martin.
wanting? That's a good one.
Yeah, I would love an Aston Martin.
Do you think that's on the list to get? That's official?
Are
we're
they
asking?
gonna make an official Aston Martin? I don't think so. And if they did, the insurance would be out of my price range.
Yeah,
let
that's
alone
true.
the car itself.
What about, I'm just trying to think outside the box here too. Some of the things that we've wanted, forget about products with fans or anything like that, but just some basic memorabilia. I mean, is there anything like paintings or books in the world
Ooh.
of Bond that,
Ooh. Well,
might-
I'm a sucker for Fleming. Any edition of Fleming that I find in like a secondhand bookstore or something
Yeah.
like that, I'm gonna buy. So maybe do a rerun of the original chopping covers, like the
Oh.
original first edition
Yes.
Ian Fleming covers in a box set would be wonderful.
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I would buy that.
I like it. What else? Do you have anything else that conjures up?
How about a new movie?
I knew it! I was waiting. I'm like 15 minutes in. When is he going to say the most obvious
How
thing?
about a new movie, or
That is-
or some news, something a sign of life that they're working,
Yes.
that it's being written, that they've hired a writing team, a director, something, an actor.
So it doesn't even have to be a final movie as the number one product we want. A product could be broken down into pieces, like even start the journey.
Right, and tease us with news,
Yes.
and leak, some information that there's some signs of life and James Bond will return.
Yeah. So that's kind of our Magic Wand wish list, just high end.
Yep. I will
What-
say we've been spoiled with books lately. We've got a
That's
new
true.
Kim Sherwood novel,
Yeah.
a new biography of Ian Fleming
Nicholas Shakespeare,
just
yeah.
came out. So we have been spoiled lately with books.
We have
we
been.
had some books last year.
We've even had re-releases from Ian Fleming publication. When others are pausing their engine, they're just lighting the fire with charcoal.
Correct.
Just boom, boom, boom. It keeps firing down.
It's been a good year or a good
Yeah.
couple of years really for literary Bond and reading about
It has.
not just reading James Bond novels, but reading novels or reading books rather about James Bond.
I'm thankful for two things when a movie doesn't come out like this and makes us wait. Number one, obviously people are driven to our content because there's not a lot to consume.
Sure.
And the second thing is they go back to the books. They go back to the books or even the movies and re-explore those in different ways.
And how many times can we watch these movies and still find new things? I've seen
Unlimited.
Casino Royale how many times? I've seen Goldfinger how many times?
Yeah.
Each time I watch it, I learn something or find something.
Can I see your I want a movie as a product and maybe even think maybe slightly more realistically for this year? I would love for Eon to consider, maybe they have, maybe it's already all planned, I haven't heard, to release some of the movies in our theaters in the United States.
Yes. I would definitely buy a ticket to see Goldfinger
Of course.
and Golden Gun up on the big screen.
I'd see all the Goldens.
Yeah.
I'd see GoldenEye.
I would see GoldenEye.
I'd see Goldmember.
Sure.
Is that not a
That
Bond
I
film?
actually did see on the big screen.
Oh, I did too.
Way back.
Oh,
in the
when it
day.
first came out?
Yeah.
You were like 2.
I was like 15 or 16.
You were.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an old. You're not an old soul. You're just
I'm just
old.
old.
You're
Yeah.
just old.
I'm in my golden years after all.
So one last question for you in the same subject. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about more pieces coming up. Do you think, and more than a wish, do it as a forecast. Do you think the second half of the year is going to see much more of the excitement around these products and merchandise?
Perhaps, must get them in the stores for Christmas. So maybe
Wow.
maybe the holidays. I've always kind of associated the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas with James Bond.
Yeah.
So that could be a time for ramping up the enthusiasm a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping so too. I am hoping that, I know September was kind of like the date when Goldfinger came out and everything. Maybe they're using that as kind of a waypoint.
That would be wonderful, and I would go and see it, and I would dress like this.
Exactly. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for playing golf in my basement and running through. I hope you're doing well.
Thanks for having me. I'm actually I'm in the rough, so I gotta.
You have
climb
no
out of
idea
that.
how much you're in the rough. What ball are you playing, by the way?
Not the Schlesinger #1. It's a Penfold Hearts, of course.
Gavin will appreciate that, the CEO of Penfold. Anyway, this has been Kyle and, of course, David Zawitsky for the Bond Experience, and we'll speak to you real soon. Take care. Oh. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.